share, how about, I loved that video. I hadn't seen that before from Mel Robbins. So if you liked it too, would you comment below? That was really powerful. I love that idea of counting back from 5 and just taking action. It stops so much that is going on in our head that's keeping us from our goals and our dreams and being able to help people. So that's such a cool concept. I think it'll help too, getting up early in the morning. Tonight, we started off with the 5-second rule. We're talking tonight about John Maxwell's rule of 5, which basically is the 5 habits for success. And I've created some slides that I'm excited to share with y'all tonight. So I'm going to do some screen sharing. And let's see, Dee and Larry, if you can see my screen, if you'll give me a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. All right, so here, let's see. All right, so this is all from a book, or the idea. A couple of us went to the Live to Lead with John Maxwell on Friday, and it was phenomenal. But he mentioned this book about the essentials of success, and the idea is in his business, and he's created this massive coaching business. He believes if you do 5 things every day, you're going to be successful in your job as a coach. And he believes it's not just for coaching, but for any profession out there. And so we started talking on our way home in the car, and you're saying, you know what? That's true for coaching. That's true for us in our business. We have 5 essentials for success. And there was a quote that I saw on another leader's page this morning that they shared in their client group, and y'all, it hit home for me. And it is this: when you visualize the end result, remember that you need to visualize the behavior there. And when I saw that, so I hope that resonates with you too. We think so much as we start out, at least for me, when I started out as a coach, I was like, okay, I want to, and then I coach, and then you just kind of think about where you're going. And we forget that with these goals and dreams that we all have, we have to not just have the goal and dream of making it to senior coach or executive director or fully integrated business coach, whatever. We need to actually know what actions we're going to do that's going to allow us to create that goal, right? And that's going to allow us to be successful in that. So that was a huge just mental shift for me. And I think Mel Robbins' 5-second rule could help us in being successful and staying there. So would love for you to just kind of think in your head, what are the 5 rules for success? And if you are a part of our boot camp a couple of months ago, you probably saw us talk about the quadrant journal. And that's one of the things that we were, that led us to these 5 rules of success for coaching. So we'll just kind of jump in, and you probably know, of course, it's finding clients, right? We've got to have clients to help. But beyond that, it's supporting those clients. That's coaches, supporting those coaches. And then 5, and y'all, this is huge, but it is getting healthy and staying healthy. So wherever you are at in your journey, maybe you're a part of this last 90 days challenge with us and with all of your clients, which is awesome. But these are the 5 things. If you do all 5 of these every single day, man, your business is going to blow up. You're going to find those people to help. You're going to be serving them with joy. You're going to be able to visualize and complete these goals that you have in your business. So this was just a great thought and a good wake-up call for me to ask myself every day, okay, am I doing all 5 of these every day? Now, obviously, this is for somebody who is in growth mode, who wants to grow a business. So would encourage you, if you are just starting out as a coach, we're so glad that you're here. Talk to your business coach about where to kind of start in here. I would recommend starting with finding your first couple of clients to help, but you'll definitely be able to take some of this and kind of run with it. But all 5 of these are super important, and we'd love to kind of break them down more. But tonight, we're going to stay focused on number 2, which is supporting your clients. And I just would challenge you right now, take a minute and for a baseball coach or a rowing coach, maybe somebody in math, or maybe even your Optavia coach. But think about what about that coach made them so good? Just kind of in your head. And I'll tell you, from all the studies that we've done about coaches, the tip is that coaches lead, they engage, they inspire, and they make it all about the player, right? So when great teams go, and I think about, I'm a Bulldog fan, but I think about the University of Alabama, and they've got arguably the best coach ever in history. And that pains me to say it as a Bulldog, but it's true. He's incredible, but he makes it about his players. He helps them be successful in those games year after year, game after game. He leads them well and engages and inspires them. There we go. All right. So some client service tips. So our clients well. There are some things to keep in mind. Number one, conversation and a coaching relationship with them over the phone versus a text message conversation. And I hear from a lot of coaches that feel like, well, my clients are super busy. They don't really have time. And so I just would challenge you to see if that is making it about you. Maybe if you have some fears about having conversations with clients, or is that what's in their best interest? Because most of my clients would rather text me, but I don't make that an option unless it's like last case scenario. And I had a coach here. She can't be on the call tonight. Allison is her name. She's amazing. But she lived this out. So she said, Meg, I know you told me that I should call all my clients, but I just didn't have time or whatever. Things happened. She's like, so I was texting all of them. And then she watched one of the boot camps, and they talked about how important it is to call. And so she started calling her clients. And she was like, I'm noticing such a difference in my clients' results and their excitement about our program. She's like, I totally see the importance of calling clients and what that does. So I know, I wish she could have shared that with you live, but I know she's told me that story, and I just love it. And it's so true. Our clients don't know that they need a call. So we're going to lead them into that. And I always let my clients know, listen, there's two different options. We can either talk on the phone or not, but my clients that I have a phone conversation with every day, their results are twice as good as those that don't have a conversation with their coach. And y'all, those are just the statistics. You can take that to the bank. So that was really, really helpful. And make it a contact each and every week. Week after week. It really just needs to be a 5 or 10 minute call. So I would challenge you, if some of your calls are 30 minutes or whatever, work with your business coach on what that should really look like. Because in order to help the most number of people, it really should be about a 5 or 10 minute call. And then send them that weekly newsletter. That's a great way to serve them, give them a great recipe, help remind them about the Wednesday night calls. But these are some tips that we have used and seen other coaches use that provide great service that we know you want to provide. All right, so here, before the call, here's some tips. So here's something to think about. Before you call your clients, what is your energy like? Do you actually want them to answer? I heard from some people, and honestly, myself, I call somebody, I'm like, man, I hope Susie doesn't answer. I felt that, honestly. So I know I'm not the only one out there. And when we feel that way, when we're calling somebody, even if we get their voicemail, you got to know that energy comes through on the other line, right? So, if you know me at all, you've heard, if you've seen any of my posts, I am obsessed with Rachel Hollis. She is like my jam. So one of the things that Rachel did at this leadership event on Friday was before she even got up and talked, she played some dance music for all the crowd, all the people that were there. She fired us up, and we spent 30 seconds and we just danced around the room. And I've never danced around the room with a whole bunch of business executives and leaders before. It was kind of funny, but it was really fun. And the energy in that room before that song was played and that dance happened was completely different than the energy after. So that's something that I'm starting to do when I jump on the phone tomorrow I've got a long line of client calls. So before I jump on the phone, I'm going to play some Beyonce or some, whatever it is that you love to hear. So highly recommend. It can be 30 seconds, but do something that's going to get you excited to talk to your clients. Maybe you focus best when you're sitting without any distractions in your office or in your car. Maybe it's when you're walking through the neighborhood. However you focus best, that's the best place and the best way to call your clients. And remember, another tip that has been helpful for me, especially if my energy isn't there where I want it to be, is to remember a story that's going to fire you up and get you excited. Last week, I got to talk to a client that lost 62 pounds in 10 inches. Y'all, that story rocks my world. And if you need a transformation to be excited about, check out Transformation Stories to Share. It's a group that has all kinds of transformations. But read one of those stories and see what's on the line for these clients. That we have a privilege, y'all. It is a privilege to get to walk alongside and journey alongside our clients and be able to encourage them. And so for me, sometimes, even though I know it's a privilege, I can forget because I'm human, right? So remembering that story and visualizing what it's been like for certain clients has been impactful for me. Your main goal as you're calling them, and I know especially when I started out as a new coach, I was petrified to call clients because I didn't know all the answers. But here's an honest newsflash for you. Over 2 years later, I still don't know all the answers. And that's okay. I know where to find the answers. So no matter what they ask me, I can be confident that I have all of Optavia standing behind me. I've got my business mentor standing behind me. I've got the coaches in this incredible community standing behind me. So we're here to support you. So it's okay to have fears. We all have had fears, but just have that confidence that we're there for you and you are really just showing up to support them. So that's one thing that I'm really trying to do every time I get on a phone call is, okay, how can I not make this about Meg, but how can I make this about Susie? What is Susie struggling with? How can I serve her today? And that helps take all the pressure because y'all know it's not about us. It's not. It's all about the clients. And if we are doing our job as a coach, we're empowering them, right? We're helping them find their own success because we hope we're going to work ourselves out of a job. Or at least that's my prayer with every client, that they don't need me anymore. All right, so here are some questions that if you're wondering, okay, what do I ask when I get on this client support call as I'm calling these clients to check in? You can ask them, what are you excited about in your health right now? What non-scale victories are you experiencing? A lot of clients have never heard of a non-scale victory or an NSV, and they kind of feel like they're in the know, or it's ooh, it's kind of fun to know what an NSV is. So highly recommend bringing that up every week. And please, I can't see the chat right now, but if you would put in your chat box the questions that you ask, I think Shauna, you have some great questions that you ask. So if you would just share these so we can all benefit from them. I always love asking what challenges are coming up in your world. Are you taking any trips? Are you going to any dinners that you're worried about? Any celebrations coming up? It's much better if we can plan ahead for those things and learn from them in the future, right? I also ask, what did you think about the Habit of Health call on Wednesday night? That's a really telling sign. Are they engaging? I've asked that question and I've had clients say, oh, what is that Habit of Health call on Wednesday night? Perfect time to say, let me tell you, it's the third component of Optavia. So it's going to tell us how, really how plugged in are they? And I always let them know they're all recorded for playback. We've got side note, we have an incredible YouTube channel. And that's a great place for clients when they're struggling to go back and listen to those calls. Another great question is, what would it mean to you to lose those, if you remember 20 pounds or 40 pounds or whatever, what's it going to feel like when you get to your goal? I was talking to a client today and she said, Meg, I just can't do a lean and green. She's like, I just can't do it. And so for me, my mind was kind of blown. I'm like, what? So I remembered, we got to get back to her why, because you can do a lean and green. You can take your George Foreman and put some chicken in it, for a couple of minutes, or stir up your stir up some eggs in a pot and make an egg scramble. We can make it easy, but you're not going to do it unless you're zeroed in on your why. So we had a conversation about how important is it for her to get to, she wants to lose 20 pounds. So we went through that exercise to figure out her why. Another awesome question is, are you open to exploring health coaching? Because we know that our clients are going to be 5 times more likely to be successful in our program and keeping their weight off long-term after 2 years if they help somebody else get healthy. So I love asking that question. I also recommend setting up a celebration call or a tips call with your business coach. That's a great tool. So if you don't know what that is, contact your business coach and learn more about how to use those tools because they're really helpful. I wanted to just take a minute and introduce you to a couple of amazing coaches who have some great, I'm going to stop the share, who have great experience coaching clients, and would love for them to come on and share a client experience and a story from their world. So Erin Bloodworth, I can't see if you're on, but will you come off a mute and share the story that we talked about?
Yeah, so it's funny that you just talked about why. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this has been really beneficial to several of my clients, but one in particular, it helps not to scroll, but to be aware of what your clients are posting on social media for me, because a lot of times they don't necessarily tell me all the great or all the bad things in their life. But to have kind of a talking point and know what's going on in their lives helps a lot, but also to know, like, what is your why? So this one in particular was really focused on her son, and she didn't tell me all the good things that had happened that week. One of her things was she wanted to be able to just play with him and be there for him. But he got stuck and he was being bullied. He's 2. He's being picked on by like a 6 or 7-year-old kid in one of the like play places. And she crawled up and went and got her kid. And she's like, 50 pounds ago, I never could have done that. But she didn't tell me that. She had posted on Facebook that she was basically complaining about people not taking care of their kids, and she had to go save her kid from another kid. And so she's bringing it back and we're talking, and she's not really celebrating anything. I said, what a great celebration point, like you were able to be a mama and be your mama bear for your baby, and like that's why you did this. You were able to go back and go get him. You were able to rescue him and be what you wanted to be for him. And had you been your 50, at this point she may have been at 75 pounds heavier, there's no way you would have fit in there. So you're not where you want to be, because she was really struggling with, she has 100 pounds to lose, and was just, you get stagnant and you get stuck, and do I really have to do this forever? So just bringing her back to, you're doing this for your boy. And a couple of texts throughout the week, like you can tell when they're struggling, because people tend to want to talk about the bad stuff. And it's constantly out there on social media. If somebody's having a bad week, you're going to know about it most likely. And so I just kind of try to keep track of specific people and remember their why, and text them things throughout the week too. Say, hey, I know you're having a rough week, but I want you to know that you're a great mama, and I really see that you're working hard for your kids, and that this is why you're working hard. So I know that people brought donuts to work today and you didn't eat them. So I'm really proud of you, and I'm proud of what you're doing to be a better mom for your kids. So when you really know, and especially when it's their kids, when you know that that's the why, and you can go back and show them positive ways that they're making changes, but also just to encourage when they're not having a good week, is really helpful. And I've gotten, most of the time you get those texts back and they're like, oh my goodness, that's what I needed right now. You have no idea what that one text meant to me, to know that I'm making a change for my kid. And even though I'm not feeling great right now, that I'm making a good decision as a mama, and thank you for that. So if you know their why, it's really easy to support them throughout the whole process.
That's awesome. Erin, it's cool to see your heart and how you loved her through that. And I think one of the things that you were saying is kind of following your, check them out on Facebook, but also if you have like a nudge in your heart, that your intuition, that somebody needs some encouragement, I love that. Shoot them a text. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Like everybody in our society is all thinking about themselves all the time, right? Like nobody's out there thinking about other people. So it's a great way as Optavia, like we're different because we are focused on other people and how we can serve them. So that was a beautiful story. And excited to see her reach her goal of 100 pounds. What an accomplishment for her, for sure. Thanks for sharing that, Erin. That was awesome. All right. And another story, Kristen, if you're on, would you share a client story that had you fired up? Kristen is another incredible coach that has a huge heart.
Hi. Yeah. So that's such a great story, Erin. Mine's not quite as long, but I have a client who actually became a coach, and she's lost 60 pounds. But going back to kind of what Erin was saying, just about the why, she had tried basically everything to lose weight. And she even had weight loss surgery, which is something that I can identify with. And so just connecting with the fact that she's been trying to lose weight forever, not able to, wanting to be there for her family and her kids, grandbaby someday. And so I have seen her transform her life just over the past few months and lose 60 pounds. She's now paying it forward and helping her family. And so when I think about people like her, because like Meg said, there's times I get on the phone and I don't want to call people. We all have those days, but I think of how it's changed her life, how she's finally able to accomplish the things that she's been trying to do and not been able to do until our program. And I just think about that we have to share with people. So when I think about her and the life she's touching and how her life has changed, I'm like, what's my hesitation? Sometimes, yeah, I'm in a bad mood or I'm tired, but like just that 5 or 10 minute phone call can change their life. It can change other people's lives. So I just get so inspired just when I think about her and her joy and her excitement for all that's happened, and those texts that she'll send me, like I've, lost this much weight, or I'm fitting into these clothes, or sometimes I get pictures of like, look at me. It's worth all of it. So yeah, sometimes I call people and they don't answer and it's frustrating. There's some people who will never, pick up the phone, but for the people who do, who I can connect with every week and just see that success, it just makes it all worth it. And it's worth making the phone call versus shooting them a text, just to have that connection. So I love her story. I think it's inspirational for me as a coach.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kristen. And I think that client you were talking about posted on Eat, Love, Be Optavia today, which was also exciting when people post.
I'm going to talk to her after this call, so I can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah, I love that. I love that energy, like how you're excited about it. That's so cool. Yeah. Our energy makes such a difference, y'all. There are people out there that they're hurting. Like I try to go back all the time and remember, because we forget what it was like when we were living in so much pain, when it was hard to open up your closet and not know what to wear, when you had that negative tape going in your head all the time. That's how our clients are living, right? So what a privilege and a joy to get to help walk them through that. That's just so cool. And Kristen did talk about how, some clients, they don't answer, right? We can talk to them till we're blue in the face. So one of the things that I learned, if you have called them for a month and they have not returned your call and they're kind of static, I usually call and leave a voicemail and say, hey, listen, Susie, I don't have any clients named Susie, so that's how I can use that name over and over again. So, hey, Susie, I'm thinking you've got a lot going on in your world right now. I'm sure you're super busy. I don't want, I usually make a joke, by the way, and say something like, I don't want you to think I'm stalking you, or I don't want to stalk you, or something like that. But I want you to know I'm always here for you. I care about you as a friend, as a coach, and I'm here for you whenever you're ready. And that just breaks the silence, because everybody feels awkward, right? Like they know they're like hiding from you. I did it to Dee lots of times, right? So they know they're hiding from you and they feel awkward about it. And they probably feel bad. So if you can break that barrier and make it easier for them next time, whenever they are ready to call you, that's our goal, right? That's our heart. One other idea as we are coaching clients and celebrating with them, thought about this with Erin and Kristen both. We have clients that have some big goals, like losing 100 pounds. And when they've lost 50, that's amazing. But they probably still feel like, oh, I'm only halfway there. I still have to lose 50. So take a minute and ask them how they're going to celebrate. Invite them to go to their grocery store and see if they can hold 50 pounds of sugar and take a picture and send it to you. Invite them to celebrate what they've done on Facebook. Invite them to go to the spa or get their nails done, or, invite them to just have fun with the journey. So I hope those tips have been helpful. Thanks Erin and Kristen for sharing your incredible hearts and sharing with us. And now back to you, Dee and Larry.
All right. Thank you. Meg, that was awesome. And just such a great reinforcement on the importance of client support. And I love the stories from Kristen and Erin. And Larry and I were just talking about that today, the importance of our client support and what it means. You had a really good point. Did you want to share it?
Yeah, as far as client support goes, you guys know I'm the numbers guy, right? I'm always looking at numbers. But when clients push their orders, right, and we see that from time to time, that's a cue. That's a cue for us that somebody needs help. All right. So somebody's off plan. Somebody hasn't been sticking to plan, so they probably have food left over. So that's something to reach out and not say, hey, I saw you postpone your order. We don't want to do that. But what we want to do is reach out and say, hey, how are you? How's your plan going? I haven't heard from you. Now, again, we know clients, sometimes they won't pick up the phone, like Meg, like you mentioned, right? They'll avoid you. Still leave the voicemail. The voicemail says you care, right? And the voicemail says, I'm there for you when you're ready to come back and talk to me from that standpoint. So do that. Use Marco Polos. Some of your clients may use Marco Polos. So that's also another way for them to hear your voice and hear the fact that you care. One last thing, Dee and I were in a married group through church. And just yesterday, we were going through our one chapter and our one study and the importance of blessings, right? The importance of gratitude and identifying every single day, all the blessings you have, and trying to stay away from that one piece that you're going through, that one struggle, and letting that ruin your whole day. Okay, so I just wanted to share that because, again, it's so appropriate to what we're talking about today as far as blessings and gratitude and just client support. So great job, everybody.
Yeah, with the postponing of orders, it's so important. One thing I learned when I worked in the fitness industry was, there would be people that would be like on a monthly auto for their fitness and they wouldn't cancel it, and they never showed up. But what we learned was when people do that, so if you've got people that are just postponing, they have an intention of coming back. Mm-hmm. They want that reminder. They have an intention. So what we need to do is just always leave that door cracked for them. So if somebody postpones their order, if I get an order from somebody, even if I don't call them every single week because they don't answer. When that order does go through, I will just call them and let's say, hey, I'm here to support you as you want. Just leave them that short message. So
and remember, they said yes at one time. So it's a client that said yes. So they want help. They want to make their life better. Versus a client that doesn't even know yet, right? Hasn't made that decision. So always something to remember. So
yeah.
Dee and Larry, can I say something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. I just was told by several people who are not on this they don't have a coach in this group.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been transferred to me or I'm working with them through the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like amazed that I call them every week.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, my coach doesn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's just our group in particular that has been trained to do it, but they're really touched, and mine don't answer every week either. But it's like, I'm so sorry I haven't called you. I've seen your calls. I've heard your calls. It's, and like Meg said, if you're thinking of somebody and they're on your heart, reach out to them, and they are just, just to be thought of. I mean, think how you think when someone thinks about you, and it touches your heart. So
that's so important. Thank you, Katie. That's a really good point. And, we are in the transformation business. Finding a new client, having them sign up, that's a transaction. Supporting them through their journey is transformation. So this was really, really timely. Thank you again, Meg. Here's a heads up, guys. Next week, we have a special guest for a call next week. And it's going to be an hour long. So it's going to be at 7 p.m. But we have leadership and personal development coach Paul Blanchard that's going to be speaking to our group. So that is next Monday night at 7 p.m. So mark your calendar. That will be our full call. So no separate call at 7:30, so we can hop over and get to Dr. A now. So the link is in our Facebook group, and you got an email today. I encourage you to get on Dr. A's call right now, and then there's the field training at 8:30. And Larry and I are headed to Sundance. We'll share you our big takeaways, the leadership conference next week. So we'll see ya. Thanks so much for being here, and thank you again, Meg.
Love you guys. Have a great week.